Hi and welcome once again on this Monday afternoon. It's officially coming up to Christmas now, so we can go a little bit more festive, can't we? Thank you very much for joining us wherever you're viewing us. We are available on most platforms now. If you are new to the channel as well, what I will do is introduce myself first of all. I'm here to represent AVAGO-INK and my name is Simon Williamson, and I'm here to give you some inspiration and demonstrations from our lovely products and some of our preferred partners as well, to give you some inspiration. And we get some exciting projects done every week, normally 2 as well. So we've got 2 fantastic demos today. If you can, like and subscribe, and then if you can as well after the video, leave a comment. It's always nice to have a comment on the video, and then people can know whether it's something that's going to interest them of and what we did. So I can see Tracy's on Facebook. We're also on YouTube and Facebook, so welcome, and like I say, thanks for joining us. Really nice to have your company. We've also got the QR code as well, so if you want to scan the QR code that's on your screen, and then you can be kept informed of live broadcasts that are coming up. So it's another way of keeping you connected with the crafty kind of happiness that's going on. So let's start with our first demo, I think. So his first one today is going to be this one here. It's a lovely bauble design, really simple and easy to make. So I've gone for this one as like a simple design, but the next one I think it's going to be a bit of a showstopper, but it's running late. So we'll do the first one first. So this is our bauble card. I'm going to show you how to do this. So the first thing I'm going to do is we need to alter our card blank. So some of you might already know how to do this, but it's for all abilities. So let's show everybody. So I've got a nice 6x6 blank card. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put a die on top of there. Got a nice circular one. I'm just going to overlap it where the crease edge is just there. And then that means that you're going to have a card that operates rather than 2 pieces of blank card. So I'll bring in my cutting plates. Pop that onto there. It should just fit. I think it's just big enough. There you go. Let's pop that just over there so you can see a little bit of a gap there on the crease edge. And then that means it's going to actually fold correctly. Pop that on there. Put that second layer on. Because I've got a bit of cutting to do today, rather than use the electronic one, I'm going to use this portable one, which I've got to say I'm falling in love with. Let's pop that in there. And we'll just take that through. It's a really good way of getting shaped cards, this though. So you think of all the shaped dies that you've got. There we go. Pop that to one side. Oh, hi Anne, thanks for joining us. And Sylvie College, welcome. So you can see on there, we've got a nice little card blank now. I'll just move that to one side. Get rid of that bit, we don't need that. You can see we've got a nice little card blank now that's going to operate like a circle. So the first thing I always do is to stop it rolling, especially when you put the weight on the card. You don't want it to topple over. You might want that effect, but on this one I don't. I'm just going to trim the back just so it's a little bit flat, and it'll give us a resting edge then when it stands up. So I'll just trim that a little bit. And you can see when it stands up, it won't rock at all. So it gives you a nice stable base to work on. So that's the first part that we're going to do. So we're just going to get a nice backing colour onto this now. So I've gone for a Christmassy pad. I think this is a funky fossil one. Just got nice Christmassy colours in here. So let's pick a background for this one. I reckon we should go a bit red, but still the one with green that I made. So let's have a look. Got stripes, some stars. Let's go for the starry one. I like the starry one. Let's take that out of there. So we're going to cut this the exact same size that we just cut the card blank. So it's nothing complicated. We can put that on there. Just fits on as well. Hold that in position. You can use tape if you want to, but I tend to find that if you grip it hard enough, it doesn't move. So I can see lots of you coming on. So Tracy's put, I'm making Christmas cards using your cute characters. I've had a few with the penguins, so I'm using the owls. I'm using the owls today as well, obviously, for this demo. I thought they went really well for Christmas. And because they've got the little hats on as well, you could easily cut over them and make them little Santa hats. I thought it'd be ideal. And most of the cold weather, they've got them little hot drinks in the hands, haven't they? So I thought they paired really well with this. Oop, get rid of that bit. Let's move that to one side. So So we've got our backing now, and we can stick that right over our card blank, and that's going to give the base of our bauble design that we've got. So let's use a bit of wet glue. Just down the edge. Oop. There we go. I've just left a bit of glue missing at this top corner, and that's because we're going to be inserting an extra piece in a second. So let's give that a good push down. Ooh. Line that up very well, did I? There you go. A good push down. Make sure that's where we want it. And there you go. Really happy with that. So we've got our little bauble design started there. So the next thing I want to make is the little hoop that goes at the top where you hang it on the tree. So the best way for this is I've got two circular dies, a small and a big, and I'm just going to put these within each other. So you've got like a donut shape basically. So position them exactly where it's centre. You can use your grid lines as well on your glass mats as well if you really want to do that. And then I'm going to put that tape over. I'm going to really push down so that it makes sure that this doesn't move or come apart. So I'll give that a good push down. I'll put it onto this gold already, so let's run this through the die cut. And you're going to put two of these through, so that's why I push the tape down so it doesn't slip. We'll just run that through. So, hi Melanie, thanks for joining us. And we've got Caroline crafting on. And we've got Anne on as well. Any questions? Just ask them on the way through. Just put QQQ at the beginning. I can keep an eye out for them. So as we've cut that tape on, it should allow me to just try and release that, but keep the positioning of both of those circles. So I'll be able to push through slightly, and we'll get that one out first. That's one. Push that middle bit out. Just tease this one out. It says it's just, I've just knocked it out of the centre, so just let me just line it up again. Or a bit heavy-handed. There you go. We'll pop that down again. Let's run another one through. And this is just to neaten up the card, really. This is when I'm louving this manual die cut, I've got to say. I've always had an electric one, but I quite liking the speed that you can go with one of these now. So I'll push that other one out. And we've got us two little rings. I don't need this for today, so I'm going to move that aside. Move the plates back. So what I'm going to do with these, I'm going to glue them back to back so we get a really nice finish on both sides. And then that way, it just makes it a more professional looking card for you. If you've got double-sided cards, you could have just cut ones. But I tend to find foil cards seems to be one-sided. Let me just get my pokey tool. Just grab it from over here a second. Just need to just clear the glue out this. Try again. That's better. Because it's winter, isn't it? We've all got us radiators on it. It dries things out a little bit faster. So glue them both together. Give them a good push together. We've got this nice little gold ring now started. So I'm going to bring this card back in. We know where the hinge is, and I know that I want it in this side here. So we're just going to decide where to actually put it. I think I'm going to put it about there. I can lift that card up, put a bit of glue there, a little bit of glue on the backing paper, and let's push that where we want it. So I think just there looks really good. Give that nice firm push down. You can see now we've got this little bauble design that when you stand it up, gives us a good basis for any card. So really simple, and it saves you buying them shaped cards that are really expensive. You can make your own like this. So let's get a little scene going on the front now. So I'm going to use a slightly smaller die that just fits within that red so we get a nice border. I'm going to use a piece of water stock card, this one. So let's run that through and we get a nice little bit of a background to start on. The Carolyn Crosses love that idea. It's good, isn't it? And do you know if you made them really small, wouldn't it look nice as little place names at Christmas? You could put everybody's name on and put them on the plates. So we've got our piece of watercolour for as background. And while I've got the die cutter here, I'm just going to cut some little trees as well, which are the trees that you get with the AVAGO, I think it's called Terrific Trees. So let's cut some of those out of white card. You could do these out of coloured, but I want to use a bit of watercolour to give them a bit of depth. So let's cut 2 trees out while we're at this stage. Run them through. Oh, Emma Blake's on as well. Welcome, Emma. So let's get those 2 trees out. Move them to one side. And these are them fab little trees that have the lift up panels as well. So you can see that the little bits lift up. So I tend to just tease them out now so that when we add the watercolour, they'll lift up a little bit easier as well. So just tease them up, gives a little bit more texture. Looking very festive, Simon. It was going to happen, weren't it, Emma? Right, okay, so I've got our background and we've got our trees. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of sky onto this. So I'm not going to do anything too complicated. I brought a really big brush. I'm just going to do a bit of a blue wash on there. So let's get some water into here first. And I'm going to use this smaller brush just to add a little bit of pigment to it. A little bit of this blue. Just water it down so I don't pick up too much. I'm just going to brush this across just to try and take that edge off this card. Deepen it a little bit. And just take that across. I quite like it when there's a little bit of texture in there, so just add a slightly different blue. Just add a bit more texture into that side. That's perfect. So I'll put that to one side. And then I've got our little trees now. So in the same way that we did the other, I'm going to just use a few washes of green on there. You need one of those Greg jumpers and I'll send you up there. I've got plenty of jumpers. You'll join us every week. I'm going to try and get something at Christmas every week that's different. So just add a bit of a wash to these trees. It'll look light at first, that's fine. And always watercolour dries back a little bit, doesn't it? So don't worry about going too heavy at first. Let's use a different one for this one. Just brushing that colour on. Just to get a bit of a base on the background. We've got Roxy on as well. Welcome, Roxy. Just putting a little bit of some different greens now to break it up. And just darken some areas. It just makes it a little bit more three-dimensional. There we go. I really like that. So I'm just going to give it a quick press with some paper towel. Just take some of that water off. It might be pooling on top. And then we'll give that a quick blast with the gun to make sure it's dry. So you could put this out to your papers if you wanted to, but I just think it gives a bit of a more unique effect when it's watercoloured. And we'll just heat this sky as well to make sure it's dried. So hi Irene, thanks for joining us. Don't worry about being late, it's not at all. And there's a lot going on today, isn't there? I think Tony's on telly as well. There you go. So you can see we've got some lovely shades going on now with these designs. So the first thing I'm going to do is put a sentiment onto this background, then I can work around that and make sure that we frame it correctly. I'm just going to move my paints out of the way so I don't have an accident with them. We'll bring up the stamping platform. I'll just mop that bit of water up I've just noticed. So I'll pop that in there. So we're going to leave this white section as the snow in our design so we know that this bit's for where the characters are going to stand. And I'm going to bring in my Merry Christmas sentiment. And let's pop that. I think just that top corner looks nice there. Pick that up. And now I'm going to use my black ink on this one. I do like a crisp sentiment, I've got to say. Give that a bit of a push down there. Just make sure it's fully dried if you're doing this at home before you put your sentiment on. That's why I use the heat gun. Just do that one more time as it's textured card, just to pick up that middle bit. There we go. Take that out of there. Pop that there a second. So I'm just going to start building this up and then I can give this time to actually set while we do his main characters. So let's get a little bit of glue on the background. Let's get this onto our bauble. And you always check where we cut that little bit off because that's going to be the base, if you can see that on that line. So level that up that way, close it, and then you know which way then to put your sentiment. So I'm going to do it this way. I wonder if our Sarah's on today. I might have to pay for these papers I borrowed. There we go. And then we've got our little trees. Let's get our trees put in. Lifting those little bits up to give a bit more texture. And then you know where you can put the glue on the back then, so it doesn't like make a mess of the front. I think I'm going to have this one over here. Hold that down a second. Raise these other little bits up. A bit of glue on the back of these as well. And we'll put this one a little bit lower, just on that side. Hold that down just to make sure it grips down. There we go. So we've got our lovely kind of background now, and we just need a character for there. So this is when I thought I'd use the owl. Because they originally launched with penguins and they've sold out, I thought let's use the owls because we've still got some of those in stock. And I think they actually suit these kind of designs really well. So let's go for this one. He's got a nice big cup of coffee in his hand. This is cold, and he's got a nice big hat on. It looks very sleepy. Give that a good push down. Look at all that detail in that. It's lovely, isn't it? Big wide eyes. Let's get this character now. Bit of colour. bring in my watercolours again. Let's get a bit of brown on this character, I think, first of all. Just make that a little bit darker. I always use this like a palette as I'm actually doing it, and then you can see how dark your pigment's going to be before you put it on. Let's do the wings first. And I think we'll do around his eyes, look, just to make them pop a little bit more. Always very tired, isn't he? Let's give him a bit of a red tummy now, look. Just bringing that down. And there's little head to match. And then let's just mix a bit of a darker shade up for his tummy. And we'll give him some little knobbly knees, look, we'll make them brown. And then let's give a bit of pop of colour on this now. So I think we'll use a really bright red for his shoes. And then let's give him, I think, a stripy hat. And just so we get a bit more colour into this, let's give him a really vibrant mug. So let's go for purple. You can see he's holding his little coffee cup. I'll just take most of that off my brush. Just pick a very faint amount of purple up, and we'll just give these bits of pages a little bit of colour so they're not completely white. And then I'm going to go in with this brown and just do under his eyes. Just because he's really tired, look. Okay, let's give this a blast with a heat gun. Make sure we dry all them areas off. What we all been up to today then? Have we all made all this Christmas makes at home? I've still got cards to make, I've got to say. Just drying all them areas off. So Ronald says it looks like I do X this morning. It looks like a lot, as I promise you. So I'm just going to take him out of this so that I don't get any of this wet paint on him. And then these owls come with the outline dyes as well, which is really good, isn't it? We love those. So let's get that positioned nicely. Goes right over him, look. We get all that detail. And that looks right. Use a little bit of tape to hold that down. And then I'm just going to bring back in the die cutter to run that through. Ooh, throwing it around, look. Hold that there. And we'll just run that through. So Caroline says, finish my cards and on my sewing now. Oh, you're very productive. Very productive, aren't you? I decorated my flat yesterday, so all my Christmas trees are up now. Look at that lovely little character now. All ready for Christmas with his little cup in his hand and his little sheets of, I think it must be, I wonder if it's caroling, it could be his little song sheets, look. Right, so we've now got them, and I've already, ahead of time, just got my little friend, look, to go with him. So let's get these put on. Use some foam pads to give them a bit of height. You can go there. And then we'll have his little friend at side him, look. We'll just tuck him just down there a little bit lower. If I stand that up for you. Look at that. You could put a bow on it if you want to, but I don't think it necessarily needs it. I think it looks lovely just as that. And you've got a nice little bauble design card. So hopefully you enjoyed that first demonstration. What we'll do now is show you a bit more inspiration from the AVAGO range. I'll join you back here when hopefully the next demonstration will have arrived, because it's running late for some reason. We'll see you in a couple of minutes. Hi, my name's Simon Williamson. I'm the guest demonstrator for AVAGO-INK Designs. AVAGO-INKs it's basically images that we can put together so anybody can have a go. I think I love the most about crafting is it can just give you time out in your own head. It can just down tools, not think about your mobile phone and just enjoy what you're going to do, create a project and be proud of what you've made. My inspiration comes really from lots of sources. I love looking at current trends, I like looking through the internet, and I like looking at what other people make, and I think truly inspiration comes from picking bits out of everything you see, pull it all together and make it something that you can do with your skills. AVAGO products, we've got 3 collections out at the moment. We've got as dinosaur range, as farmyard range, and as little owl collection. And the main crux of the actual designs is there's a big image there, little characters you can play around, have fun, and there's always some puns in there as well, so you can liven up the card and make it a bit humorous for everybody. I think if you're thinking about trying one of our products, don't be afraid. Just buy any of the kits that you feel like you want to, and you'll always create a really good card from there. There's some good characters, good sentiments, and some really fun images in there. So just grab one and have a go. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that first demo. I can see lots of positive comments there, so that's really nice to know. So a second demo should be, like I said, but it looks like it's just going to be pulling in now. So here's our second demo for today. And this is a lovely little chocolate train. Look at that. A 3-dimensional project that you can have a bit of fun with. And this one's come with little chocolates look in each carriage, so you can actually give this as a gift to somebody. Or I thought maybe you could put little pictures of your family members in each carriage, or you could even put the names on the front, just so they've got a little bit of a gift for the family. But I just thought, let's go a little bit 3-dimensional and make something a bit different that's not a card. And you can see there's lovely depth in these carriages, so you can get quite a lot in there. Put your favourite treats in there. Other chocolates are available just in case you see a logo. I have tried to turn them around best as I can. But let's get started with this one. I'll show you how to make it. So I'll just put that to one side. Put it back in its station, shall I? Right then, so let's start off with our train first of all. So we've got them lovely big stamps. Ooh, you can see how big they are. Really big design there, so I'll put up there and you get the corresponding die that goes with it. So I'm going to cut 2 of these first of all. So let's get our die machine in. I have pre-cut quite a bit of this ready, so you can get the gist of how to assemble yourself. So let's run that through. I'm just using black card because I think it hides all the joins and where you're going to be gluing nicely. But if you want to use coloured cards, you can do. Ooh, just a bit more. It's so big, this die, honestly. If you've got it already, you'll know what I mean. But if not, it's such a good piece to have in your collection. So just take those bits out. So you've got the front of your actual train there. And ahead of time, I've already cut another one out. So I'll just bring that in. Ooh. You can see I've got 2 now. So on one of them, what I want to do is just cut across the top. So we've only got the lower half. So it just means that you've got like a box design at the back of your train to put your little goodies. So let's snip that across where the window is. And then we can run that all the way through to the front. So there we go. So that's our front of our carriage, and that's what we're going to start with. And then for the bit that's going to create the box design, what you need to do is you need to cut a piece of card, which is, this is 6.5 by 2.5. And then we're going to bring up our scoring cutter. And I'll show you what we did. So I'm just going to score at 1/2 inch all the way down there and down the long side. And turn it around. I'm going to do exactly the same on this side. And then I'll just check my measurements on this. So I need to do 1.5 this way. You've got like a deeper section. Hopefully you can see that on camera. And then flip this around. And we'll do 1.5 this side. And I'll just take that bit out. So if I just put a little snip into these, this is going to create our little box that is going to hold our train together. So if I build all the bits first, then I can show you what to do. So give them a good fold. You can see that they're going to create that box. Fold those down. You can see if I hold it like that, that's going to create our little box shape that we're going to be able to stick onto our carriage. And then when we put the train sides on, you're going to get a complete box that's made. So it's the easiest way I could find to do this for you guys. So we're going to put a little bit of red liner tape on these two edges. So we've got that ready. I found red liner tape as well. It is easy to construct with, but you could use a stapler, you could use wet glue. If it doesn't bond straight away, use some little like clothes pegs to hold it into position. The same on this one. All we've got is our front of our train, the back of the train, and then we've got this piece that we've just scored. So let's get the carriage made, and then I'll show you how to assemble, because they both assemble exactly the same way. So we've got one side of that carriage, and I'm just going to get the other die. Let's run another one through. Just make that a bit smaller so it's a bit easy to see. So the same principle as the train. The only difference on this one is we're not going to cut it down in size. We're going to have exactly the same size carriage front and back when we make these. So I'm just trying to show you all the components to make the actual shape, and then we'll decorate it in a second. We've got our two carriages there. Pop that to one side. Then you need a piece of card, similar to we did like around the train, and this is 3.5 by 2.5. I'm not going to show you how to do it again, it's exactly the same, but we're going to do this one at 1 inch by 1/2 inch by 1 inch by 1/2 inch, and then cut into the same. And we're just going to make the same kind of box, but it's a smaller version for these little trains. You can see then that will go over there and give us a really good kind of area to put our chocolates. So I'm going to put tape on the same side as we did on the train, so the middle section. Let's get some double-sided on there. Chop that off there. I'll just move that so it's rattling a little bit. So we've got our components there and there. So I think what we'll do is we'll decorate the front side of each of these, and then we can assemble it all as one item later. So let's start with our train. So we've got a lovely train there. All I've done is paper piece this one. So rather than cut it all out live, you can see what I've done is I've cut it out in one colour. We're going to use this as our base, and then I've cut it out in a different kind of pattern, but chopped all the bits ready. It's really easy to come together. So let's start with the green train first of all. I'm going to use some wet glue on this. It's a bit different, isn't it, this? And you can have fun with it as well. It's like you could put somebody in the train. Or drive it yourself if you want to. No rules, it's Christmas. Let's push that down. I love how I use these papers as well, so it's just very vibrant, and these green and reds will make it really festive as well. So give that a good push down. And I've already got all these little bits cut out, so let's just mount these on there. We've got the wheels coming together. This is the top of the train. It's really good as well, so I know some people like to fussy cut, so it just shows you how fast this comes together. Put this little door on. counts as a penguin in the train. I know, well, I love them penguins, and they do fit in. The owls fit in well as well. If I had enough time today, I'm going to take a picture of myself driving a train and put myself in, but I didn't have enough time, I'm afraid. But you get the gist. It's lovely, like, open area that you can play around with. And if you don't want to put somebody in the train, it's a good place to put a message into it. You could write a little sentiment on there. So I'm just building up all these little bits, complete this design. And you do as much as you want to. You can even do lots of colours as well. You don't have to just stick to 2 colours, but I thought it looked quite effective in the red and green paper. Put the front of the carriage on there. Its headlight. Last few bits. This is the front bumper now. And there's the back of his train there. So that's our train built up. I'll just give that a good push down. And I'll just bring in our little carriage. And I've done exactly the same, but it's a little bit faster. This one there's not as many components. So I've just cut the wheels out and I've got the actual carriage top. So let's get this glued down as well. Then we can make a really fancy train, can't we? I'll pop that onto there. And that's the advantage of having the die to cut the outline. So it gives you the base to stick them all on. There's a wheel. I brought spare wheels just in case I dropped any. And then this little stripe just goes at the top. And just stick that on there. Get rid of them wheels, we don't need them. So how fast will that? We've got the front of our train and we've got our carriage. So let's assemble these now. So to get the train, first of all, what we're going to do is go back to this little kind of section that's going to give us the box. I'm going to take out red liner tape off. Do the same with the side. I always find it better to do both sides at the same time, and then I can hold it better. So we're going to fold those in and bring that other one up, and you can use the actual corner so you've got a guide of where to put it. The same for the other side. Follow that over, and there we go. So we've got a little kind of like box shape there. So we're going to turn our train over. I'm going to stick this towards the bottom so it's not too visible either side. So if I go about there, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on these edges, just so it gives a bit more security. But the double-sided tape at least is going to hold it in position. So let's go about there. Get that pushed down where the tape is, and that'll hold it firm. And then the back piece, we can put this straight on. If you look down straight over it, you'll be able to get an idea where to put it, but that looks good to me. So let's go there. Give that a good push down. And that should give us this freestanding train. You can see straight away we've got this train started. We're going to do exactly the same now for this carriage. So we'll take this tape off. Hopefully you can see this. I never thought about the black not showing, but... So follow that round. You can see where the cross is there. That gives you kind of like an area to stick it on. Turn it over. We'll do the same again. Fold that one in. Use that corner so you can get it all nice and level. Fold that one over. And there you go. So we've got the same kind of little box shape, but just on a smaller version, and that's going to help us. So we're going to turn this over. Bit of glue on this side. Glue on the other side. And you're going to put this just somewhere in the centre so you don't see the actual working. So in the middle there's nice. Give that a good push down. Bring out the back trailer. Over the top, push that down. Give that a good push together. So we've got his train and his carriage. And I've already made another carriage ahead of time, look, so let's get another carriage to put down onto this. So I'm just going to turn this over this way now. I'm going to put some string on these and that'll keep them together then. So we'll just use a little bit of red liner tape, just because it's really sticky and we know it'll hold this string in place. And we can put a bit under there. Push it down. You could glue it as well. I'm just trying to put something that's going to hold it together now for us. So I'll do the same again. Oh, if I can find the end of the tape. Let's pop that on there. Just to hold that string underneath there really securely. And we'll do the same for the train. What might be easy for this one, because I can't stand this upside down to show you, is I'll put the tape on there. I'll just space this out so you can see where it's going to be. And then you'll be able to put the string straight over that tape and it should hold it in position. That's lovely. So you know your spacing's right. And I'll just cover it up with a piece of tape just to trap it in there. Just because you need more than one set of hands sometimes, don't you? There we go. And then we'll just snip that end off that we don't need. You can turn it all back over. Got our lovely tray. And then we've got our little goodies that we can put in there. So we just pop some in each one. You can put your favourite chocolates in there or sweets. It's entirely up to you. And then we've got some in the train as well. And there we go. How'd you like that? It's got a little train delivering gifts on Christmas, which is what we want, isn't it? We want to have a bit of a nice little festive kind of project there. So hopefully you've enjoyed that. It's a little bit inspiring, isn't it, to see a different design. If I just move them carriages like that, we'll put that other one there for you. So it's just a bit of fun, isn't it? Tom will love that. Yeah, I bet he will as well. He'll have all those little characters in each carriage, won't he? So just a bit different, isn't it? It just shows you to think outside the box with your dies. You can make something three-dimensional. It doesn't have to be a three-dimensional die that you can, buy. You can create it yourself. But it's just a bit of a fun project, that one. I thought it's just ideal for Christmas. You could even, if you've got a really long sideboard, you could have an advent calendar and have 24 carriages. A really good idea for next year. And you've got time to make it, haven't you? If you have a go yourself, if you know what I mean. So I can see from the comments you like that one, so that's really good. Thanks very much for joining me today. I've really enjoyed it. I'm loving the fact it's Christmas. It's going to be very festive now until the end of this year. So I will see you next week, same time, for some more festive fun with AVAGO. See you later. Bye-bye.